You ever notice how some celebrities just never leave the conversation? Even when they're not touring, not posting, not doing interviews, maybe not even alive, they're still a part of pop culture. Their faces are still on t-shirts. Writers are still making think pieces about them. Fame is one thing, but icon status? That's completely different. We're talking about stars like Britney Spears, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Justin Bieber, Michael Jackson, even Tupac and Biggie. People whose names are cultural shorthand. You don't even have to be a fan to know their story or know their music, because their story isn't just about them, it's about us, the culture, and nostalgia, the feeling they give us. So why do some celebrities fade and others become immortal? Hey friends, I'm Ana the Marketeer, your friendly neighborhood marketeer baddie. I decode and break down marketing and branding strategies that shape pop culture, including celebrities, creators, and campaigns, to help you build your own authentic brand and to help us learn together. And today, we're going to talk about celebrities who never really leave. The ones who could disappear from the internet for years and still trend with one blurry picture or one birthday post. The ones who, even in silence or death, are still part of the cultural conversation. This is about more than popularity. This is about permanency. How some celebs become a symbol, a blueprint, or an emotional landmark in pop culture. The Britneys, the Biebers, the MJs, Beyonce, Taylor, Tupac, they aren't just names. They're reference points for shared cultural relevance across the globe. They're people you can mention in almost every country in the world, and people will know who you're talking about. And today we're unpacking exactly what makes them unforgettable and what tips we can learn from these icons as we build our own brands. But first, I know most of you watching are not subscribed. Click that subscribe button right now if you've been watching any of my other videos and you've been enjoying them, and just help support the channel. And if you join my newsletter, Marketer's Memo, you'll get a free authentic branding checklist that you can use today to help you build your own authentic brand. Link is in the description, as well as you can listen to these episodes on Spotify. Link is also in the description below. Okay, now let's get into it. Why all fame is not created equal. Here's the truth. Not all fame is built equally. Some people get a quick burst. They go viral, they get cast on a show or drop a hit. And then crickets, they vanish, or we just literally stop caring and they just lose their relevance because their fame was situational, temporary, or conditional. And then there are the others, the ones who can vanish for years or die decades ago and they still dominate the conversation. That's because longevity in fame isn't just about attention. A lot of the time, it's about imprint. The celebs who live at the cornerstone of fame have built strong brands that have led to a lasting legacy, emotional resonance in audiences, and symbolism for a moment in time. These people have surpassed just being celebrities and have become what I call cultural landmarks. Just like the Eiffel Tower or Times Square, they mark a moment in time or a cultural shift. And when we talk about them, we're often talking about ourselves, who we were when we discovered them, and who we became while they were rising. The anatomy of a pop culture mainstay. There's no one path to icon status, but there are patterns. After analyzing tons of celebrity careers and pop culture moments, I found these 4 key ingredients help turn someone from famous to forever. So let's break them down. Number 1, cultural first. People remember the first, the pioneer who did something before it was safe, popular, or rewarded by the algorithm. Some people that come to mind are, of course, Michael Jackson. He didn't just release music videos. He made them into events. He shifted what we even thought a visual album could be and created some of the most timeless pop music that still gets a dance floor bumping today. He truly laid the foundation for what a pop star is and inspired many of your faves. And he has such an iconic imagery that you could see the silhouette of Michael Jackson and you know, yep, that is Michael Jackson. Another is Britney Spears. She was not just a pop star. She was the blueprint for the teen idol culture that dominated the 2000s and still has a sprinkling of to this day. She set the tone for an entire era of music videos, performances, and tabloid stories. Tupac, he merged raw poetry, activism, and street culture in a way that no one else had. His image is still, to this day, debated, dissected, and revered even almost 30 years after his death. His image is still relevant and you will still see t-shirts being made with his face on it. And Madonna, super important to pop. She broke ground for the pop provocateur archetype. She's genre bending, boundary pushing, and constantly reinventing herself before it became the norm in pop music. These artists are important because they shaped how an entire generation experienced pop culture. Once that happens, your legacy becomes embedded in people's identity. And I'd love to know, who are some other people that come to mind? Even as going through this, Elvis is another one who really comes to mind for me. But I'd love to know, who are some other cultural first artists that come to mind for you? Number 2, emotional storylines. You can be talented, but without emotional resonance, you'll eventually be forgotten. The celebs who stick are the ones we feel for, the ones who pull us into their narrative beyond just their music, into the whole narrative of their life. Some examples that come to mind is Justin Bieber. His journey from baby-faced YouTuber to troubled tabloid kid to married man to whatever his IG posts are giving right now. I don't want to speculate about his mental health because I'm not a mental health professional and is not my place. But as a pop culture staple, he gave people something to root for or against in every stage of his career. Whether you were a believer or a skeptic, he made you feel something. And Britney Spears, her story is one of the most emotionally charged in pop culture history and truly is still being written today. Her rise, her fall, and fight for freedom became a symbol for so many about mental health, misogyny, and media exploitation. Selena Quintanilla, though her career was tragically cut short, is still remembered not just for her music, but her love, promise, and heartbreak her story holds. And Taylor Swift, she built her entire brand around letting fans into her diary. Her storytelling, breakups, and redemption arcs have kept her fandom emotionally invested for over a decade. When a celebrity's life feels like a movie, even if the ending is tragic, their brand becomes immortal. Because every generation finds a way to relate their own story to theirs. Number 3, cross-generational relevance. Icons don't belong to one era. They bleed into the next. Some examples, of course, Michael Jackson, still referenced, sampled, and covered across genres and decades. Every generation seems like they discover him for the first time because his music is just that timeless. Biggie is a good example of this. Still on posters, in bars, on playlists. I feel like a staple in college culture for decades now, because he's not just music, he's a whole mood. His vibe is shorthand for a certain kind of cool that lives on because it's really hard to replicate the kind of cool that he brought in to hip-hop. Beyonce as well has done this flawlessly. From Destiny's Child to Coachella to Cowboy Carter, she reinvents without losing herself or her core brand promise. Your mom loves her, your niece is obsessed, your grandma can probably sing the chorus to Single Ladies. She's been that girl and still is that girl, and honestly, I don't even think her career is close to being done, so curious to see how she continues to shift, change, and become such a staple in pop culture. And Lady Gaga, I think, is really important for this and did this really well because she reinvented fame in a digital era, and her ability to shift from glam shock pop to jazz standards to Oscar-nominated actress made her airless. The meat dress alone is something people will talk about till the end of time. These artists become time travelers. Their brand moves through the culture like folklore. Number 4, mythology and mystery. The final piece is leave room for curiosity. When a celebrity becomes too accessible, too explained, and too overexposed, they can lose the magic. Tupac and Biggie are perfect examples. Their deaths were tragic, but the unanswered questions and symbolism they left behind only deepened their mythology. Britney Spears even now remains a mystery. Even after documentaries, books, Instagram rants, people still want to understand her and understand her journey. Beyonce rarely does interviews now. She just lets her work speak for itself. And that calculated distance only makes her feel more iconic and also allows people to fill in the blanks in their heads with, what does she mean when she does this and think this, etc. When audiences are intrigued, they stay invested, even if you're absent. If you're interested in this topic specifically or want to learn more about it, you can check out my video, Why You're Obsessed with Celebs Who Say Nothing. I dive deeper into this whole idea of mystery and mythology, looking at specific celebs. And yeah, you can click wherever, somewhere at the top or the description below to dive more into that video and learn more about that type of aspect when it comes to branding. So what does this teach us about branding? Fame fades, but an impression lasts forever. If you're a creator, entrepreneur, or artist wondering how to build a brand that sticks, here are some tips that you can take from these icons. Build with meaning, not just momentum. You can go viral a million times and still not be memorable, but one moment of real resonance, that's what sticks. Prioritize purpose over performance. Your story is the brand. The more you let people in on your journey, not just your highlights, the more emotionally invested they'll be. People don't root for perfection. They root for progress. Don't be afraid of mystery. You don't have to overshare to be relatable. Sometimes silence, restraint, or absence can build more intrigue than constant content. What you don't say is just as powerful. Iconic doesn't mean constant. Beyonce disappears for a year at a time. Adele disappears for a year at a time. Frank Ocean built a whole fan base on disappearing. Beyonce hasn't dropped an album since 2016 and people are still begging for it. Consistency doesn't have to mean frequency to be iconic. And anchor your brand into something bigger. The celebrities we talked about today don't just represent themselves. They represent moments, movements, and ideas. That's what makes them unforgettable. Ask yourself, what am I a symbol of? What am I building toward? What will people remember me for? At the end of the day, you don't have to chase fame. You can build impact, because attention will come and go, but resonance, that's what turns a name into a legacy. Some people become celebrities, while others become the culture. So tell me in the comments, who do you think will be always famous and why? And who do you think I missed? I definitely missed a lot of people because didn't want to make this video too long. So just put in the comments who you think will always be famous and why. I'd love to read what you guys think. As always, if you came all the way to the end, thank you, love you. Hit that subscribe button, like this video, subscribe to my newsletter if you'd love that authentic branding checklist. You can listen to this on Spotify on the go. Of course, share this video with a friend if you care, if you like it. And you can always buy me a coffee as well in the link below. Until next time, Marketeers, stay iconic, stay relevant, and most importantly, stay you.